We begin with Nigerian Tribune this morning, and their focus is on the invasion of Oyo secretariat over the weekend. Tight security in Osun, Ekiti, Kwara, Ondo, Ogun. Governors, police urge residents to remain calm, say no cause for alarm. So these are the lead story and some of the riders associated with that particular story on the front page of Nigerian Tribune today. And, well, some reactions in some quarters about what was that all about. So that is the focus of Nigerian Tribune here today. But from then on, take a look at Vanguard newspaper. Tariff hike is a theme here. CCN discos bicker over failing 20 hours supply. Band A consumers protest undersupply, seek downgrade. Total supply remains insufficient. Consumer network. Government must sensitize consumers. Others ascribe to Power Up Nigeria. Discos to set up response team. Reverse hike to avert further misery suffering electricity workers. Vow to shut power supply nationwide if colleagues are attacked. Oh dear, I guess that's all we have to grapple with. That is the front page of Vanguard here today. And have a look at the Guardian newspaper. Sticky prices, poor control, upset consumers despite stronger naira. So that question subsists. They wonder, so how come it's not affecting commodities out there in spite of the gains that we seem to be recording? So I guess you might have to turn to the authorities, who themselves are expected to speak up on this matter in turn. Then we move on to Business Day. Nigeria's big banks take lead in hunt for new capital. And then Leadership newspaper here, 2024 budget exposes misuse, in parenthesis, of funds by MDAs. So again, some attention. They need to speak up on that particular matter as well here today. New Telegraph, Humanitarian Ministry probe. We've not cleared anybody, ascribed to the EFCC. So whatever you might have heard, this is the perspective of New Telegraph here today. And then at the bottom strip, Yoruba Republic, Oyo Assembly Invasion, Act of Insanity, ascribed to Akintoye. So from then on to Nigerian News Direct, a similar theme, alleged misappropriation. EFCC recovers 32.7 billion naira, $445,000 from Humanitarian Ministry amid corruption probe. So that's also gained some traction over the weekend, some back and forth as to the appropriateness of the reportage. So dailies are reflecting that again. Well, this Nigeria, on the same subject matter, Humanitarian Ministry scandal. We've recovered 32.7 billion naira, $445,000, says EFCC. Discreet investigations on Edu Umar Farouk Shehu opened other fraudulent dealings involving COVID-19 funds, World Bank loan, Abacha recovered loot released to the ministry. So it goes on. So you might want to also get more perspectives if you're interested in reading that. Well, Daily Trust, we uncovered more fraud in Humanitarian Ministry, ascribed to the EFCC. So lots of narratives on that one too here this morning. Daily Independence, focusing on the economy. Oil production shortfall may threaten naira recovery. Experts, that's the last anybody wanted to hear. They wanted more gains to keep going on. And then PDP reps set to clash as they hold pre-NEC meeting tomorrow. That's at the bottom strip of Daily Independence here this morning, if you want to check that out. And then Abuja in Kwara on ease as FCDA demolishes another estate in Abuja. So, yeah. But Blueprint is looking at internationally. Israel versus Iran. Nigeria world leaders warn allies against military reprisal. And you know how some of these things can escalate. So that is the version of Blueprint's newspaper this morning.
Well, quite Yeah,
Go ahead.
quite a lot to maul with the papers that have just recently been put on your screen. I remember our young lady telling us that's one of the reasons why you have to keep it locked on here, because the selling will bring you the paper. She said you can read the papers for free. Well, maybe not quite. At least you can read the headlines for free. But one of the headlines that really caught my attention this morning, Vanguard newspapers, tariff hike. TCN discos bicker over failing 20-hour supply. That lead story certainly is very catchy. I was on my way to work this morning and someone was telling me that, look, before they came up with this band A, band B, before it became so popular, we used to have light. What is going on? Because right now, I think my power supply has been downgraded to either band E or something.
So did you get any communication?
With who? Or from who?
I thought they said they improved the communication with the residents and the customers.
Well, this is what we're seeing. Some communication appears to be improving, but I don't think that the channels are still very clear. AEDC, at least here, seems to have tried to upgrade their website and be a little more responsive, but it does take forever for them to pick up their phones. And then the numbers that they provide on their website says it's only for band A customers. I call anyway, so I'll advise you to do the same too. We're all entitled to electricity. If you're a Nigerian citizen, if your disco has put some numbers there and it says only for band A, even if you're band F, call them. Call them. If you're not getting what you're supposed to get, call them.
You know, but what is the rationale for increasing this tariff with the so-called appropriate pricing or whatever it is, and they don't get supply? They don't improve their capacity for the supply. So it just comes across as though all they're focusing on is tariff. Just get the tariff, get the tariff, get the tariff. Cost of regular tariff, whatever it is. What about the service?
Indeed. What about, I think that's where the problem is. So that's where this front page of Vanguard might be of great interest to everyone.
So are customers supposed to accept it, that they're bickering? How is that the customer's business?
The problem now is this. Transmission Company of Nigeria, you know, and discos. Discos do not give themselves electricity. It's whatever it is they're given that they eventually distribute.
So once you pay this band A tariff, would you take that as excuse? You want your supply. Whatever they do, settle your issues.
You should demand it. But this is what we have. So I want to believe that, you know, all stakeholders, all concerned, they should be paying attention to this particular headline. And not just this headline, also this one on the front page of The Guardian. I mean, take a look at it. Sticky prices, poor control, upset consumers despite stronger naira. Everybody wants the naira to improve because they want whatever it is they're earning to be able to do so much more. But when you have a situation where the naira is improving against the dollar, but you're yet to see the effect in the market or in the supermarket, as the case might be, then it begins to raise questions as to what exactly is happening here. Are we really trying to keep it in such a way that when things go up in this country, they truly never come down? So that cannot be the situation.
That points to the reason why the government, they have to expedite action in ensuring that things are controlled. Because if you leave it to the vagaries of people, they will give any excuse whatsoever to profiteer. That's what it is right now, because at those times they always tell you, oh no, dollar this, dollar that. So how about now that the dollar is gaining? So is it reflecting? That points to you that people just want to profit. They want to gain, they don't really. Not everybody wants the dollar to be strong, mind you. So it's up to the authorities. The naira. It's up to the authorities to make sure that, look, you can't keep taking advantage of people in the guise of so-called hike in the dollar. Things that they even cannot connect the dots. They're just looking for reasons to just ensure that people are strangulated. It doesn't make sense. So we need
for
to
it
look
to be on the front pages, Chamberlain, it does tell you a lot. It tells you a lot. Ayo.
Well, thank you, Mapwe. You know, every time, Chamberlain, we talk about government, I like to decrypt. I like to drill it down. It's just some fellow somewhere refusing to do whatever he or she is supposed to do. Or some group of people who are supposed to move one thing or the other from one place to the other that are not doing what they're supposed to do. I connect two things right this morning on the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper. It's talking about uncovering fraud in the humanitarian ministry. and that's according to the EFCC. Connect that to the Chibok girls situation, the scenario that happened back then. Yes, maybe we didn't have a Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs at that time. That came up perhaps, later on. However, we had a ministry of the federal government responsible for the welfare of Nigerians, as the Constitution has mandated. And look at what you have right there at the bottom of that page. 21 Chibok girls returned with 34 kids, 48 parents die of trauma. Who was supposed to do what needed to be done? That those things didn't get done, and those children, what happened to them did happen to them. And we had this conversation last week. It is very, very interesting that it's so easy for us to say it's government. Government is more than 1,500 ministries, departments, and agencies filled with people who are supposed to do what they are supposed to do. So yes, on that, Chamberlain, I will agree with you that there needs to be certain mechanisms to ensure that people do what they're supposed to do. But who will put those mechanisms in place? Is it that we don't have such things that are supposed to get those things done? There is what they call Servicom. What happened to Servicom? Is Servicom effective? Now, these people were supposed to get money at the various parts of Nigeria to alleviate poverty and all those things. How come children were abducted in Chibok, and 1,600 of them over the past 10 years? And yet we have a Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs. Well, whatever it is that the EFCC is doing is one. Come up with investigation and all of that. How do we know that those things are not going on right now? Have we dealt with the systems that allowed those things to happen in the first place? So again, Chamberlain, I agree with you that there needs to be that control, but those controls have to be holistic. And the earlier we get to work, the better. It's a Monday morning. That's my take, guys.
All right, there you go. That wraps it up with a look at some of the dailies here this morning. We'll be back in just a moment, so stay on with us.